Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. The new season is almost here, and to make it easier for all new and veteran players, I am going to review all completed items and give my honest opinion about each item. Enjoy. Before we start, there is some context that I need to share with you so that my view might seem to you fair or logical. Based on my time spent on this game, this is what I feel regarding how Riot approaches any change to the game. Riot have a sort of fetish or favoritism, if I may say so. Riot favors certain classes over others as the following. Enchanters are always broken with free items, the best gold efficiency in the game, and breaking rule spells to assist you in the game. Mages are the next in lane. They are an enchanter that lost some utility and gained damage or battle control abilities. Our fellow assassins are the sub-main characters of the game. They are just there as a countermeasure, since assassination is meant to kill high-value targets with underhanded methods. This concept is broken in real life. Riot decided to always nerf this role until the League community got used to the hard reality. Invisibility can't be nerfed, since in the game it leaves no trace until you are damaged, hence it needs to be removed or replaced with another mechanism for assassins so that this role is fun and playable again. Up next, the twist plot characters of the game, the range carries or AD carry players. This class is already broken by design from the start, because when you shoot at someone that is hiding behind another person in real life, you can't kill him unless you use piercing shots. But in the game, the shot always lands with 100% accuracy unless you use another spell to block it. This role is the only excuse that Riot have to always buff range items in the mid-season patch and always nerf the upcoming class. The twin brothers of the game, the bully and the late bloomer, bruisers and tanks. I am someone that mostly plays bruisers or tanks because I like to carry by protecting my team. As noble as this sounds, these two classes are the only roles in the game that have been ignored for years and players still pick them. The reason why Riot is always throwing a bone but never making a lasting good change is that due to tanks and bruisers the team fight can happen. Otherwise, this game would be another Call of Duty where we throw stuff at each other with a mystical twist, League of Harry Potter if you get what I mean. Now that you have someone of my personal opinion about each class or subclass of the game, now let's delve more into the items changes, and the opinion I will be providing is only for Volibear based on my experience. Let's go. Well, first of all, the naming is as bad as it can get, but this is not the topic of our video. I'll go by each epic or new item one by one and give a rating between epic, good and trash, since these items might never hit the live server if they show any weird behavior or interactions with others' items. Zazzax Realm Pike, for support Volibear I would say, good since you can poke with your E and the mana regen is much appreciated. Blood Song, still in the support section. I don't know how and if this synergizes with press the attack, but it feels too strong to be true. I'll put an epic tag until it hits the live server. Souls to Slay, very epic. Taking this item with Aftershock will be too strong with Volibear since you have a guaranteed stun on your Q spell. Dream Maker, well, somewhat trash. I don't know if you can still proc these kinds of interaction with Font of Life on Volibear, to be tested. Celestial Opposition, too much epic. Now everyone will get the Warwick E spell for only 400 gold. But I prefer the Bloodsong item since after viewing all items, Riot is trying to revert the survivability patch and add more damage to the game. Now we are done with the new broken support items, we move to a more normal selection of items acceptable to our common sense. Mejai's Soul Cedar, good and similar as before, on full AP Volibear still the same. Zeke's Convergence, good and its synergies with Volibear kit if you plan on playing a tanky support-ish jungler. Morlanomicon, super trash to be honest, not ever worth rating. Shirelia's Battle Song, meh, somewhat good, but I would recommend using it when you are already losing to end games quickly. There is an old theory that if you are losing, don't buy boots since you will be running faster to your death. Echoes of Helia, utterly trash. Moonstone Renewer, I can't shield allies with Volibear unless we get an item for it, so pretty trash since it is mainly made for Yuumi this item. Knight's Vow, very epic. The item stats are trash but the active and passive are really good. If you ever feel that there is a carry worth dying for, this item is the right pick as your third buy. Locket of the Iron Solari, good but not worth buying, there are other better items instead. However, on paper I think this is the most gold efficient one in the whole game. Frozen Heart, very good but not epic. I think Riot wants bruisers and tanks to reach their items faster at the determinant of losing some stats against their supposed value in gold. All this to promote a healthy team fight environment. Imperial Mandate, I would say trash because if no one detonates the market is useless and it lacks some health to its stats in my opinion. Ardent Censor, still dependent on testing Font of Life synergy, so I would say at the very lower bar of good, like trash but situation since you also get the buff. Staff of the Flowing Water, similar to Ardent Censor. Redemption, very good item since this is one of the few support items that was a good pick on jungler that are tanky and have some sort of self-mitigation spells. Mikiel's Blessing, this item is broken in paper, but what is the point of using it only on one target? If they make it on you and someone you pick is worthy, or you and last person you buffed, it will be a very good item on Volibear support. Vigilant Wardstone, this item should be removed because it serves no point that you need an item to hold more than one ward or place more. Simply stupid. Winter's Approach, one of the few items that was pushed on Volibear, I would say only good against mage comps when you complete its full form, other than that it is a waste of gold. Abyssal Mask, one of my favorites, an epic item when built properly. I would suggest taking this when your mid laner or your AP carry is good and you go Sunfire, a good and a safe way to play and possibly carry. Trailblazer, trash to be honest. This is what happens when you try to make a weaker version of an already existing item. Deadman's Plate is much better, just add this passive to it or to Hullbreaker and make it all allies so that the wave runs faster when you split push. Hextech Rocket Belt, not good, and weird if you think of making a build around it. But it might work against a high mobility team that has an anti-ad composition. Serpent's Fang, this item should be changed to steal existing shields by 50% and reduce upcoming ones by the same amount. Then I would say very good on Volibear and anyone that wants to test Grizzly Assassin Volibear. Anathema's Chains, on paper is a very good item, and if you think about it your stun will last more by a 0.2 second. But, it installs in your mind a loser mentality. That you expect value from taking damage not dodging it. So this depends on your style of playing to make it good or epic on Volume 1. Rod of Ages, if they make an item that converts health into attack speed, I would say this is good. Until then don't try it unless you are Trick 2G. Rylai's Crystal Scepter, I think Volibear passive doesn't proc this so. RIP, pretty trash. Umbral Glaive, that 50 seconds cooldown is a downer, so I would say a big no, trash until further notice. Horizon Focus, somewhat good with AP support or mid Volibear, I would make a build that is totally based on me landing my E spell. I think there are new items that one shot from afar to test once live. Dawncore, I mean who comes up with these names? The stats are meh, I don't think it can work. Trash. Yumu's Ghostblade, very good since you ignore collision and possibly one of the best lethality items that you can pick on Assassin Volibear. Opportunity, now, this item is scary because it synergies with Yumu's and you simply can hard engage and if you are successful run away. Simply epic. Iceborne Gauntlet, no more damage reduction to sum it up, not good at all and there are better items to pick. But, this item synergies with Volibear Kit to stay sticky and viable if you are not doing well in a game. Thornmail, same as before, situational, good when it is good and bad when it is bad. Randuin's Omen, I would say it is in the same family of Thornmail. Good against Yasuo and Jinx. Sunfire Aegis, a beautiful and good item, I think I'll be building it in almost every game. Malign Ants, you might say how this can be a good item with Volibear. Imagine playing a full AP Volibear, you take Zonia and you run it to the enemy, perform a 5-man ultimate and watch them burn in your golden state. Pretty epic. I am sure that this item will be nerfed before live or not. Edge of Night, very epic, that is all. Other items are better on Volibear Assassin, so not good. Phantom Dancer, very good and almost epic. If only they can add a 10% damage reduction, this item would be a must pick when you are fed. Wit's End, finally, they are adding more tenacity to the game. Have you ever wondered that all new champions have crowd control and we are still having the same amount of tenacity in the game for years? Yes, this item is very good, but make sure to ban Master E if this goes live. Eclipse, meh whatever, not good in my opinion. The stun doesn't last that long, so you damage the enemy then run away in small trades in lane. Maw of Malmertius, a very bad design of an item. Trash on Volibear. Chempunk Chainsword, again with the naming, in theory this item should prevent any healing at all, not reduce it. I would put a tiny not good on this pick for now. Unending Despair, this is a very cool item name, and on tank Volibear this is legit broken. But that 7 seconds seems way too long for you to reach it. I would build this with a Byssal Mask, Sunfire and possible Jackshoe, hoping this combination is possible. Force of Nature, this is what it means Riot favors mages. As a tank, you survive the magic burst in a team fight, what do you gain as a reward? Just 70 magic resistance. This buff should be either a % magic damage reduction or, as the name suggests, a counter effect. You throw back the upcoming next spell to its user. But overall, a very good item depending on the situation. Hollow Radiance, would you believe me if I told you that this item took 14 years for Riot to know it is possible? I kid you not. The female version of Sunfire. I would call it epic if they add 20 magic resists and remove like 150 health for it. Cryptbloom, I mean why are you hiding to say it? This means that enchanters can be played as mages. This is made for Seraphine and such. Trash item. Manamune, I don't like stacking items that don't have milestones on them, so I'll put trash on it. Storm Surge, good on full AP Volibear, you E into R. You one-shot the team if you are lucky. I call this Meteor Volibear. Voltaic Cyclosword, definitely not Duskblade, if you know what I mean. Trash on Volibear. Spirit Visage, a good yet an average item only viable against a composition where you are sure to proc multiple times your bite on the same target. Kanik Rukern, I asked Chakt what this name means and he said this name must be someone's first and last name. So Mr. Kanik, thank you for this huge amount of magic resist and I'll put a very good tag on this item. Dead Man's Plate, this is your go-to item against champions that run except for Lilia that champion glides. But, the stats are debatable if it is good or just a generic build in the upcoming season. Laden's Companion, if you plan on playing AP mid Volibear, this is your go-to first item. Epic and straightforward, to sum it up, every 18 seconds you can nuke someone out of existence. Archangel's Staff, I hate this item but I think it can be good but barely on Volibear AP. The upgraded version is the oldest passive of this staff. So, good luck with the loser mentality that you wait for damage to land instead of dodging. Gnasher's Tooth, this feels like a nerf, they removed some AP in the passive scaling. To be honest, this was a very good item on Volibear no matter what you build. But let's see what will be the final version when this hits the live server. Liandry's Torment, hard to say but if this procs on Volibear passive then definitely, yes. A great item. Otherwise other options might be better to buy. Cosmic Drive, not that appealing but I would put a good tag for now. This is Lilia's type of item not Volibear. Riftmaker, not good. You only get the healing at max stacks. The item stats in themselves are not worth the buy in my humble opinion. I would say this might be good on Mundo rather than Volibear. Void Staff, very generic, I wouldn't put a tag on it, good at best. Let's consider this item doesn't exist for now. Ginsa's Rageblade, this is very epic for one reason, if you go on hit off tank Volibear you will experience a different type of gameplay. It is the Aura build. Hubris, I would put a new label that I didn't say at the start of this review, a troll item. Not good on Volibear and I would suggest that you pick it on Karthus and play how many statues I can make before the game ends. Would be fun in Aram haha. Axiom Arc, a good and typical item for Assassin Volibear at best. The Collector, I think I saw somewhere a Volibear player that reached Master with this item. I'll put a good tag on it then. Kraken Slayer, very good with on-hit Volibear if you say no defensive and only ramping damage. Static Shiv, you don't need this item, it was made so that everyone else can experience what it is like to be awesome and have Volibear's old ultimate. No tag for now. Rapid Fire Cannon, if you didn't know Volibear's ultimate gives you extra range and maybe with this item you can be a range melee champion, I'll put barely good until I test it in a live game. Essence Reaver, I have never tried it on Volibear, it feels a little bit weak hence I'll put not good. Immortal Shield Bow, this item is good for one reason, the shield that it gives is almost as if you are the older version of Volibear instantly instead of slow healing. If you plan to play AD carry Volibear this would be your starting item. Mercurial Scimitar, I would say a tiny trash item since it is made only with a certain selection of carry champions. Mortal Reminder, same as the last item, not worth buying on Volibear. Lord Dominic's regards, Volibear got a very high health pool as the game progresses so I would put not good since you won't be benefiting from its passive properly. Terminus, this is what I am talking about, a very good item for melee champions that will be built on rage characters. There is some potential on an on-hit Volibear and I think it is good on average. Experimental Hexblade, this is the item of the next season that will be mostly built every game, give everything you need as a melee champion and it promotes the feeling of the longer you fight the more you get a vibe. In conclusion, a very good item on Volibear and everyone else. Hullbreaker, finally, I can rush this as my first item. Once I saw this change I almost had a Zzeroth nostalgic feeling. Even though they ruined some parts of the passive and how you proc it, I'll be happy with this for now and hope for the best. The Epic Breaker Climb is coming guys. Black Cleaver, this item was good on Volibear as an off-tank AD bruiser but I don't know since it is not built often these days. Maybe a low good item. Heartsteel, this item is an issue because as the game stands now there are a lot of anti-tank items and creating a path to be a tank is like a trap in my opinion. The item in itself is good but the game will punish you for playing tanky if you are not ahead or behind. Sterix Gauge, so far, these tenacity changes might be a game saver. We need more tenacity and this is a good step in the right direction. Very good item with this change only and it synergies well with Volibear kit. Banshee's Veil, the older sister of Edge of Night, not worth building since it blocks only one spell. It is like having only an umbrella and going out naked while it is raining. Not a good item. Lichbane, this item was a problem, still a problem and can only be a problem. So much burst, very good on full AP Volibear but not a good option compared to other items that you can pick. Storm Razor, an item made for ranged champions, hence not good. Stridebreaker, lost some stats but the passive is still worth it. Only issue is that you fall off if you are not winning with this item. But a good item nevertheless on Volibear. Spear of Shajin, excellent item on the bear but once Jax and Tryndamere start building this, you will feel left out since you will be forced to play defensively. Sundered Sky, the new version of Divine Sunderer, generally good and it is made for the bruiser type Volibear build style. Warmog's Armor, I don't know why these changes have a lot of movement speed stats instead of offensive or defensive stats. I would say a situational good item on average. Shadowflame, spells can critically strike and defense can't critically reduce damage, go figures. But to our good faith and favor this is really good on full AP Volibear. If you can't beat them, join them. Cyrilda's Grudge, this is a buff for tanks, the slow only procs after you do or attack someone at 50% of their health, in general and this item is not good on Volibear anyway. Blade of the Ruin King, very good with the on-hit build, since Volibear got ramping attack speed I can see it as an anti-tank bear build. Death's Dance. This item got great potential as a late-game item on Bruiser Volibear. If only you can transfer the stored pain to the surrounding enemies instead of healing it. Guardian Angel, the trump card of the game, viable on any champion for only 5 minutes. Buy it, use it then sell it. Otherwise a very trash item, and if only the angel would send you to a near safe location in a radius of 700 range or so. Jackshu, the Protean. To be honest, this is a good item when you are fighting against a composition where they don't have a tank and have 2 or 3 heavy damage dealers. The issue is that you forfeit all mobility and play the role of a sitting duck that is just there to take damage. Zhonya's Hourglass, best item in the game when you are a super coward or a true Giga Chad. I would imagine this to be the core item of AP Volibear with the new items, since they all do latent damage with a lag interval, so do your combo and take your pose of victory. Infinity Edge, overrated name for an overrated item. Not good in general on Volibear but can't have some rare good uses. Navori Quick Blades, to better understand why this item is good and bad at the same time, for example on Volibear Q, you will get it much faster and the Q itself is considered an auto attack plus his bite I think, but the cooldown itself it's large, so I would avoid going the crit refund build on Volibear until his bite can crit. Ravenous Hydra, the item is good on any bruiser and Volibear is no exception. But the Titanic version is much better even if Volibear's bite applies the full life steal on its damage. A beefy Volibear is better than a vampy one. Titanic Hydra, beautiful, powerful, and very expensive. I would argue that they should make this item only 3,000 or 2,900 gold. But, it looks like this will be a signature item for all bruisers for the next season since they added the auto attack reset on and it's active. Epic, good and definitely not trash. Trinity Force, the only item in the game that will never lose its place among the melee champions. This is what happens when someone tries to give you everything and your vessel can only hold so much. Simply, it is epic on Volibear. Profane Hydra, a desperate attempt to make Talon and Zed buy this item instead of Ravenous Hydra. If I ever come up with a lethality Volibear build I'll shove this item somewhere in the line. Not good for now. Bloodthirster, this item is very bad on melee champions except Gangplank and Jace I think. Trash on Volibear for the moment. Rabadon's Deathcap, 3,600 gold, what a ripoff. I would buy this last on Volibear full AP just because it is the only item that gives plenty of damage even though the pricing is not justified. Now that we are familiar a little bit with the new set of items in League of Legends. To the best of my knowledge I'll try to provide you with a variety of builds that have a totally different playstyle and provide a certain level of fun, otherwise it is pointless to play a game only to win without enjoying it. We start with my favorite build, the split push build that is suitable for jungle and teleport. It gives you everything you need except for tenacity, so be careful. Dying is not an option and mind games are key to pull this build off. Next we have the team fight build, I call it the Burns build. The longer you are alive the more damage you will output. This build is good when you feel the team is reliable. If you are just here to win and you are desperate, I suggest you pick this build, and between you and me I say shame on you, grow a pair and have fun. The next build is an old build that may or may not be strong in this patch. It is an item set that is made by Gojo Satoru himself. You simply can't be stopped if you reach the late game. Next, this is the Riot proposition for all bruisers next season, like the generic main character in every boring anime or manga. And finally, the build that will be the thumbnail of every low ELO League of Legends video, the one-shot full AP Volibear build. With this I hope I provided you with a somewhat crash course for what to expect for the next season. I really hope they buff Volibear so that he is spell landing scales with his missing health, or at least reduce the time of his ultimate animation. The champion is fun but it's not enjoyable when everyone got millions of dashes and invisibility gimmicks only to sell skins and promote broken female champions. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave me a comment on what you think. I may not give all items their rightful rating or review, but we all know, support is broken and they will not enjoy the game in peace. Have fun everyone and see you in the next video, peace. Dear viewers, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, otherwise Volibear will hug you to death.